Good morning, students. How are all of you? I wanted to remind that your previous task for this week has not been turned in, and I can only see submitted task by Sohaib. So you need to ensure that you complete it in time. I'll take you to your dashboard, to your class dashboard. So you see over here on the class dashboard, it's very obvious that only there is one submission. Let's look at that submission. Thank you, Sohaib. You have turned in the template that was required from your side. And I want the others to work on this, please, also. Okay, let's go to the task for today. The task for today is based around the tasks and instructions that have been assigned to you. And I have created a layout of what is expected from you. So each one of you is supposed to answer 2 questions, and there should be 4 slides presentation on each question. So that means you need to create 8 slides, 4 slides for 1 question. So let's begin with in the network components. Ikra, you have the first question. You have to describe the role and operation of the following components in network switches, hubs, wireless access points, and network interface card. So for each device, you can create 1 slide. Waleed, you should be working on describe the role and operations of following wireless network interface cards, routers, repeaters, and gateways. Again, you have to create 1 slide on each network hardware device. So it will make it Ikra for you and Waleed 4 slides each. Kanal, you have to describe the role and operations of the network for bridges, firewall servers, and proxy servers. Now, Kanal, if you remember in your IGCSE computer science textbook, there was quite good material for firewalls and proxy servers. So I have attached the link of that textbook so you can use it as a resource. Now, Fatima, you need to describe the optical communication transmission methods, cables, infrared, fiber optic lasers, the advantages and disadvantages and typical applications. You need to ensure that if you're dedicating 1 slide to each medium like cable, infrared, fiber optic, and lasers, then please put the advantages and disadvantages and typical application in the same slide. So here you're supposed to evaluate the wireless communication and transmission method, including Bluetooth, infrared, Wi-Fi, radio, and their advantages and disadvantages with typical applications. Again, I would suggest that for Bluetooth, you do the advantage, disadvantage, and typical application on 1 slide. Then for infrared, you do the same thing. You do advantage, disadvantage, and typical application 1 slide. Then for Wi-Fi, you do the advantage, disadvantage, and typical application on the 3rd slide. And on the 4th slide, you can work on advantage, disadvantage, and typical application of the radio. So like this, you have 4 slides. I want you all to understand that for it to become easy for you, I have attached these resources for you over here. So if you want, you can go through this. For example, for you, so here there is a complete handout for information for you. Similarly, for Ikra, you, Waleed, Fatima, and Kanal, there's this resource which I remember. Networks and communications. It says 3-networks and communications, I think. I'm sure that this has complete information and you can look at other attachments also. So now let's come back to the tasks. So the next task is network security. Kanal, describe the security issues that could arise from networking computer and explain how these can be prevented. So 2 slides on issues and 2 slides on explanation on how to prevent. So this will become 8 slides for you, Kanal, all together. From this question, 4 slides, then from this question, 4 slides. Ikra, the next 4 slides should be on physical software based security method for computer network. So you should have done 4 slides for this first question that was comprising of the network hardware devices, and now next 4 slides should be based around this question in terms of evaluation. Fatima, your question is to list the principles of Data Protection Act. It should be displayed on 1 slide, whereas the analysis or need for data protection, analyzing the need for data protection should be on 3 slides. This is what I expect from you. Waleed, you're going to evaluate methods of combating IT crime, such as physical security methods of biometrics and then firewalls, backup, encryption, granting access rights, malware security, antivirus, anti-spyware. So all of these together should form 4 slides only. Now, so here for you, I have assigned you a very interesting and very simple task. You have to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of satellites for data transfer systems. And for each slide, you should have television, radio broadcasting system, and GPS. So you will have 3 slides with advantages and disadvantages on this, but keep one general slide also for advantages and disadvantages of using satellites for data transfer systems. So I believe that everyone has clearly understood. For each question, you are supposed to create 4 slides, and you should be ready with the slides by the end of the day. So by evening 8 p.m., everything should have been turned in, and I hope that in the next class we'll be discussing the same at length. You will be presenting your slides to the classmates and peers, and you will be marked.